For all the Formula E and motorsport fans out there, I have with me a very special guest. Sam Bird, welcome to Tech Today.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
Sam, I want to start off by asking you, it's a grueling schedule for race car drivers, and the Formula E is a fascinating product that all of us are very interested in back home as well. What's your experience in the Formula E been like? Because you've had an illustrious long career in motorsport and GP2. There's been a little bit of Formula 1 out there as well. How has that transition been to Formula E?
You have to remember that I've been in Formula E now since its inception in 2014, so I've been part of the furniture now from the very beginning. I've only missed 2 races last year because of a hand injury that kept me out of Seoul. So I've watched the championship progress from a startup to something that a lot of people didn't believe in, to a championship that nearly went under after a few races, to now being a bona fide world championship with more manufacturers involved in this championship than anything else in the world. So, you know, I've watched its progression and loved every single minute of it.
There's a race coming up in India, in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the digital twin systems, the TCS data insights, they'd be helping, and then simulations as well. How key a role do simulations actually play in the Formula E?
Well, firstly, the Indian race is extremely important for us as a company because of a couple of key markets for us, with TCS and Tata being involved over there. There's also a rival team that has a large manufacturer out there. So I think that for the Indian people, having some home relations with these manufacturers is going to be key for the Indian people to really get their teeth stuck into Formula E. Software and simulation is absolutely key to the success of our race team in Formula E. I mean, I live on the simulator back at base. I mean, we do multiple days on the simulator before each event to ensure that we are fully prepared. We simulate qualifying laps, free practices, full race simulations, and the simulator needs to be within 1 or 2 tenths a lap of the real thing. So we will get a laser scan of the circuit, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in advance of the race happening, and then it's full steam ahead.
And it's kind of interesting because we've been talking about race to road tech, right? In terms of what are the learnings that actually come out of the racetrack that can be implemented in road cars. What does Sam Bird like to drive when he's on the road away from the racetrack?
I mean, I currently have a hybrid Jaguar. So that's what I like to drive. I think that, you know, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy normally aspirated vehicles, but right now I'm an ambassador of electric mobility, so I want to keep it that way.
So hybrid over fully EV?
At the moment, I'm driving a hybrid.
Stepping stone.
But yeah, absolutely.
Sam, also in terms of being a race car driver over the years, it's quite taxing on the body as well. With obviously in the Formula E, with electric vehicles, it's a little different from internal combustion engine vehicles and stuff like that, but it's still a grueling sort of a process on the body?
Yeah, you have to be extremely fit to be a racing driver, and that doesn't change in Formula E. In fact, these new Gen 3 cars are very, very heavy on the steering. So everybody at the moment, all of us drivers are trying to beef up a little bit upper body-wise to ensure that we can cope with the steering loads, because we are finding that after half a day of testing, our upper bodies are completely destroyed. So we've all had to work quite hard in the winter months to ensure that when we go to Mexico, which is very high altitude and very, very physical circuit, we're going to be able to do a 45-minute race, because it's very, very tough.
For all your fans out there, what is the typical routine for a Formula E? You said you're beefing up for the grueling schedule that comes with racing in Mexico. I mean, the diet would be important, I'm guessing, all sorts of workouts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like to mix up my training. So one day it could be a 20K run, the next day it could be upper body weights, doing strength conditioning work. Then it's fun to do legs. You never skip leg day.
Never.
So no, but the engineers have said I'm allowed to put on a couple of kilos, but especially in the back of my legs, because that's where the weight will be at its lowest. So obviously you don't want all the weight to be up top, because that gives you a higher center of gravity. So the engineers, typical, they're always thinking about the race car and the performance of the race car. But if I can get more weight lower down in my body, then that puts us in good stead, because that's a lower center of gravity.
So it's interesting you mentioned some of these things, but while I am enjoying having this conversation with you, I have to focus on one piece, which is the technology piece, because it is a technology show. A lot of tech enthusiasts watch it. I could talk about whether you prefer an iPhone over an Android device, but that aside, when we're talking about Formula E, you spoke about some of the insights you get from the simulations and stuff like that. What are the other things in terms of technology playing a key role in enhancing your performance on the racetrack?
Just anything analytical, studying the data when the car comes in from a certain run. There's so many little bits of information that we can pick up from analyzing the data, where then we can delve into that particular corner, and I can then remap a specific corner with a load of the systems on my steering wheel in order to change the balance of the car. And that changes corner to corner. So there's a corner where I might want certain things this way, and then the next corner I'll have something completely different. And we're only going to notice that by having good people working on the data.
Before we wrap up, a quick last question. In fact, it's more than a question, it's a message that you might have for your fans out there.
Oh gosh, guys, firstly, thank you for being a fan. Secondly, I really hope that you enjoy the upcoming season of Formula E. I think it's going to be spectacular, and remember to support us at Jaguar TCS Racing.
Absolutely, Sam. Thanks so much for joining us on Tech Today. What a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.